Now available. Paperback and Kindle Unlimited. ISIS, the main event. It's carnage inside of a steel cage when the goddess next door steps in the squared circle with the beast from the boss in this action-packed all-new ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, the main event, paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Yesterday, it was announced that the CW would be introducing a brand new character to be Batwoman, and not just replacing the actress who played Batwoman, Ruby Rose. And this is a result of the actress Ruby Rose deciding to resign from the role, or it is speculated she has been fired from the show. And because your Ruby Rose is leaving the show, the producers of Batwoman have decided to get rid of Kane, the Batwoman from the comics, and have decided to create a brand new original character, Ryan Wilder, to take up the Scarlet Knight's mantle. Now, when I take a critical examination of this decision to replace Kane with Ryan Wilder, it practically might be a jump the shark moment for the Batwoman show, which was already critically panned and roasted by many comic fans for its far left identity politics and its extreme social justice. And this decision to replace Kane, the character who came from the comics, with a new character, Ryan Wilder, may practically be one of the brand new moments for the whole jump the shark mission. Because when I look at this decision, it is very similar to what happened on Bewitched many decades ago, when actor Dick York, the late Dick York, was injured and could not perform anymore, and they had to replace him with Dick Sargent. And the transition from York to Sargent was quite jarring because it was a different actor playing the role of Darren Stevens. But what's happening on Batwoman is further compounded because we are not only replacing Ruby Rose, the actress who played Kane, we are also replacing the lead character of the show who came from the comics. So this is even worse than what happened with Superboy when John Haymes Newton left Superboy and Gerard Christopher came in, because when Gerard Christopher came in, at least we still had the infrastructure of the original show that was established by the Salkins, and we had the infrastructure as related to the structure of the original stories. So the big problem with Batwoman in Season 2 is that we aren't getting an organic transition from Season 1, and bringing in a new Batwoman would just be very jarring for viewers as related to the show. So a lot of the viewers out here, they're going to be very jarred, especially those who remained to follow Season 1, as few as they are, and to come into Season 2 with a brand new character taking on the mantle of Batwoman and having a new actress in the role of Batwoman, that's extremely jarring for an audience who sat through this character and watched her participate in a major storyline, and in that major storyline committed herself to taking on Bruce Wayne's role. So that's something that people would have a real serious problem with, especially longtime comic fans, because to say, okay, we're going to bring in this new character, this is a serious problem, especially when you consider that the Alice character was the Kate character's sister, and both of those characters, their relationship was integral to the series. So this is something that would really, it's not, as I see it, going to work out, because as a writer myself, I know something about, again, the concept of organic transition. And when it comes down to organic transition, you have to make it where things that were established in the past transition to things in the present, and to completely change the lead character of Batwoman, who, again, was taken from the source material and brought into this show. Take her stories and relationships and replace them with a new character. That is something that's going to be a major problem for this Batwoman show and the showrunners that are running it. Because it looks like to me the showrunners who are running this show really don't understand what they're doing. The producers of this show don't understand what they're doing. And they're getting ready to have, as I see it, an absolutely worse season 2 than they have a season 1. And if the Berlanti curse comes into play on season 2, like it did on season 2.5 of Arrow, season 2.5 of The Flash, season 2.5 of Legends of Tomorrow, season 2.5 of Riverdale, then we're going to go from worse to absolutely horrible, because that's when the writing completely collapses on these CW shows. And because these writers are starting out with no real direction, no real focus, we are going to have some serious problems. And these problems are going to get worse because, again, here we have not Kane coming back to resume her storylines. We're getting this new character, Ryan Wilder, and this new character is somebody that most comic fans don't know and, most importantly, don't care about. Because the main reason why people were watching this show was because they cared about Kane. And again, this doesn't answer the critical question of why should we care? And from the ratings of Batwoman from the first season, it doesn't seem like many people cared about Kane, because your Batwoman oftentimes got numbers lower than many YouTube channels. And that's a major embarrassment for the CW and Warner Brothers, and even more of an embarrassment showing that they don't really know how to rectify the situation as related to this Batwoman show. Now, personally, I see that they should not have renewed Batwoman for a season 2 based on those horrible numbers for Batwoman, which were lower than your Jenna Marbles, your PewDiePie, and many YouTubers out here and their channels, because these people can pull at least 3 to 5 million views in a week. This show should have been canceled, and the CW should have possibly either retooled this show into something like a Cassandra Cain Batgirl or a Stephanie Brown Batgirl series, and possibly found a way to get the viewers back with that kind of programming. Because I believe that, yes, there's a place for a Bat character in the Berlantiverse based on what I saw with Stargirl and the success of that show. Now, that show is a far superior show, and I believe that's because of Jeff Johns' hands-on work with it. But this show really needs a producer and a writing team. They need a new writing team. They need a new writer's room, and they need people who are passionate about comics working on this show. Instead of focusing on the identity politics as related to your Kane being an alphabet character and your Ryan Wilder being an alphabet character, there needed to be a focus on storytelling, because the Kane character from the comics was a truly great character and had truly great stories, but sadly, we didn't get those truly great stories in Batwoman Season 1, and it looks like the producers aren't really focused on giving us those truly great stories in Batwoman Season 2. And again, this further tarnishes the character, because what happens is when you have bad writers coming out here and putting out bad stories, they leave a bad impression on people. And it's that bad impression on people that led to people walking away from the Batwoman show. And it's that bad impression that leads to people will be more not interested in watching a show, whether it be Kane or whoever this Ryan Wilder is. The problem has to do with the structure of the storytelling, and it has to do with the structure of the writing. If the structure foundations of the writing are not solid, you're not going to be able to put together solid stories for a season. That's a lesson I learned reading Robert McKee's story and Sid Field's screenplay almost a decade ago. And when I look at this show, I do not see the structures needed in order to present compelling storytelling. So replacing Ruby Rose with another actress doesn't help. Replacing the lead character doesn't help. The big problem with Batwoman is the creators did not put together stories based on the comics, and they did not make an effort to give us that kind of storytelling we got in those New 52 Batwoman comics. That's what people wanted from Batwoman, but we did not get that from Batwoman, and that's why I believe Season 2 will be the last season of this show, because, when you're spending $1 million an episode and you're getting the audience of less than a YouTube channel, that something's got to give, because you can't keep producing a show that's not making money. And Batwoman has shown that that the Scarlet Knight just isn't someone people want to see on television, this version of the Scarlet Knight, because it does not capture the spirit of those comics that people loved and really enjoyed. Because people wanted to see the Batwoman from the comics, not this woke social justice character. They want to see action, adventure, and mystery, and they didn't get a chance to see much of that with this show. And again, when you replace the character, you replace the dynamics for the story, you replace the relationships in the story, because one of the integral pieces is the Alice relationship with Kate, and her relationship with her father, and her relationship with her girlfriend. So all of those relationship dynamics go right out the window when you replace the lead character. And again, this does not incentivize people who did invest time in Season 1 to invest in Season 2, because again, Berlanti curse and the fact that we don't know if Season 3 is going to give us another Batwoman does not give people a reason to go out here and watch Batwoman. So when I look at this show, I see a show that's possibly on the way out, because this show, it didn't understand you only get one chance to make a good first impression. And sadly, because Batwoman could not make a good first impression, she wound up alienating the audience, and it's just time for the CW to pull the plug on this show, because this show decided to show how woke it was, and now it's on its way to being completely broken, and it's just so broken that not even the best screenwriters and showrunners could possibly repair this show and make it anything comic fans or viewers could care about. Now, if you want to pick up my books featuring heroines like the Isis series, the Eaststeam series, the John Haynes series, or the Spinsterella trilogy, you may do so by picking up those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. And if you want to see me make more videos about comics, science fiction, and fantasy, and comic books shows like Batwoman, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, and my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. Comment, rate, and subscribe.